and reacting to some of the stuff that I've unlocked in the archives. I have tried to keep as little to almost nothing. Like, I have not seen any of the videos besides maybe the David King one, a little bit of it, just to see how it looked, and then like I reacted to you guys with the Spirit one, but we never got to fully go through with it on one video. So we're going to be focusing on all of those. We're going to be reacting to the Trapper one as well from the last archives. So I am also joined here by Nutty. Say hello. Oh wait, I don't think they can hear you. I think that you have yourself muted. Crap. Oh well. No, like you have yourself like muted to the audio, I think, because of the fact that like some points that like I can't hear you in the like stream.
I can check right now, because I'm pretty sure
Alright.
I might have turned it off.
Yeah, I think you may have turned it off.
No, it's allowed.
Okay, that's good.
Allow your voice to be shared, always allowed.
Alright, let's react to these archive. First, we're going to be going here to the first tome. And, you know, we're going to go and react to this.
Through the death and decay of the void.
Oh, we have two videos. You know what? We'll react to this together.
Everything's a blur. He feels pain in his stomach, in his arms, in his veins. He needs to find one of those flowers. The nectar, the sweet serum that gives strength. Strength for what? He remembers. The killers. Experimenting on them. Why? Why was he experimenting on them? He doesn't remember. He caused a lot of suffering, but he doesn't feel remorse. He doesn't even know if he should feel remorse. He doesn't feel anything but an ache in the pit of his stomach for power. He has flashes of the doctor, his screams, his agony, turning the tables on him, experimenting on him like he had done with so many others. Where? Not here. Somewhere else. Another world. All of these survivors, marooned from other worlds. How does he know this? He doesn't remember. He remembers the experiments. What was he trying to understand? The nectar? The serum? The right dose? The right dose. To use without hurting himself. Too late. He feels the hunger. Not for food or drink, not for talk or fun. For a flower. A single flower.
Oh my
for
god,
serum.
hello,
He knows the
turd.
entity is watching him. He knows it, feels it inside his bones.
Hello.
He doesn't
How
want
you
to be
doing,
snatched
turd?
for another
Hope you're doing
trial,
good.
to suffer or cause
Oh
suffering.
my
And to
god,
what
just
end?
calling this
The
woman
great horrible
turd.
mystery of it all. He wants to understand this place. He does. But he senses that to know, to really know, would drive him
There
mad.
has to be a more eloquent
Madness.
way
That's what this place is. The embodiment of madness. He doesn't want to be pulled into another trial. He wants to return home. He must return home. That's why he was studying the serum. It gave him insight. Insight to what? He doesn't remember.
Ooh. I never like went through these tapes. I should definitely have gone through them.
Home. He doesn't even remember where home is. He only remembers the void. Hundreds, maybe thousands of discarded survivors. Not dead, not alive, something else. Alive but dead inside. Burnt, emotionless, useless to the entity. He remembers. He remembers rising
God,
from the
did my
void,
girl-
finding a flower.
She
Had
texting
this flower
me,
been his
she's in the group
salvation?
chat.
Had the flower been his way out? He falls to his knees and shouts at the abyss, and the abyss answers with silence. The silence is so
Oh, she
deafening
did
it
pass
hurts.
out
He
last
buckles
night.
over, climbs
I'm
to his
sorry,
knees.
stream.
He needs serum. He's lost. He doesn't know where he is. He sees things like tentacles reaching out for him from the fog, and he knows
Hello!
they're not real.
How you
None of
doing,
it
my
is.
dog?
He's
How you
losing his
doing?
mind if he hasn't lost it already. His eyes play tricks on him. He sees giant, nameless creatures looming over him. Doesn't matter. They're not real. None of it is. His hunger confuses him, oppresses him. He'd do anything for that feeling again. Anything. Even return to the trials. He would. He'd rip survivors and killers apart, limb from limb, for that feeling again. He begins to mumble words. A promise. One flower, and I will do anything.
Wow. Okay. Well, time to actually watch the video.
dad is the alchemist.
Well, there's that. Now time to actually react to Blood, Brass, and Grit.
Maybe the
Evan is
alchemist might
14
end up
years
being a
old,
killer
and
in
he
the
knows
future.
something his
What do
father
you
doesn't.
think?
The thought thrills him, amazes him, scares him.
Maybe
there is something
that's
his
it.
father doesn't know. Something the owner of one of the most profitable mines in all of Seattle doesn't know. His father manages his workers with an iron fist. No, not an iron fist. Brass knuckles. He
Ooh.
calls them maggots. Groveling maggots. He's about to discover he's wrong. They're more than maggots. Much more. They're men. And men working together can bring change. One of these men is inspiring others to take their lives back. If they can stand together, maybe, just maybe, they can bring in the Union. With the Union, they'll have rights. More than rights. They'll have dignity, freedom, time. Time to spend with their friends. Time to spend with their family. Time to be human. Evan knows something his father doesn't know. And he feels empowered.
Ooh. Uh-oh.
Evan's father thrusts him to the ground, calls him weak, tells him he's got to stop being so nice to the maggots, stop talking to them, stop helping them, keep them in line, break them, let them know who's boss. If you give them an inch, they'll take a yard. They're just using you. Evan knows better than to say anything. His father punched and broke his jaw last year when he showed weakness. This year, he'd rather not sip dinner through a straw. This year, he holds back, bites his tongue. He wants to tell his father about the Union, but doesn't. He feels ashamed, torn between his loyalty for his father and his friends. Bob, Tom, Jim, they deserve more.
Wow. So yeah, guys. He actually has. So the Trapper basically had some friends back then.
Evan enjoys creating something from nothing. He's not an artist, but he enjoys sketching, and he hides his sketches from his father. His father forbids sketching. Sketching is for weaklings, vagabonds, gypsies. He wants Evan to do worthy things. He drags Evan to his most profitable mine. He teaches him how to manage maggots. He's hands-on, very hands-on, abusive, violent, brutal. The key is to break them, break their will, break their spirit. Once broken, a human is a tool that can be wielded to do anything. Broken. It's what he did to his mother. It's what he's doing to him. But Evan still sketches. Sketching is defiance.
Good job, man. Yeah, you show your freaking dick bag of a father who's boss, man.
Evan watches his father yell at one of his workers. He's sick. He wants to leave, but he's not allowed. He leaves. He loses his job. Evan feels for the man, wishes he could do something for him. He wants to tell him things are going to change. The Union is coming. The Union is coming, and with it a good wage and fair working hours. But the man's lungs are black, and his stomach is rot. Too much stress, too much acid, not enough sleep. He collapses. His father doesn't care, kicks him in the gut. Tells Evan to drag him out of the mine. Evan drags him out. For a moment, he feels disgusted at the man's weakness and wants to put this maggot out of its misery. He's becoming his father, and he's not sure if that's a bad thing.
Uh-oh.
Evan's father forces him to set a bear trap in a dark forest. His father's obsessed with hunting bears, always has been, always will be. He tells him the story, always the same story. He doesn't want to hear it, but he will. His father was hunting with his brother when they ran into a grizzly bear. The bear tore his uncle's arm off and bit into his head. Evan's father jumped on the grizzly's back, stabbed the bear endlessly, killed the bear, ripped open its stomach to retrieve his brother's head, carried his brother's mutilated body 10 miles to their family estate. This time it's 10 miles. Last time it was 5. His father grins. The story is changing with every telling. Sometimes Evan wonders if there even was a bear.
Nope. His father definitely killed his own brother. Next.
Makes sense.
Evan's inspired in a way he's never been before.
Also, I am
Furiously,
also
he
Les is
sketches
here
his
now.
father in a bear suit killing his uncle. He never met his uncle, but he's seen pictures. His uncle was a philanthropist, a bleeding heart, disloyal. He would have run the business into the ground with proper wages and all that socialist crap. That's why he had to go. Evan doesn't have proof, but he knows. Deep down he knows his father murdered his uncle.
Yep.
Tied him up, left him for a bear. There was no knife, no fight, no honor. just a terrible death for a disloyal worm.
Oh, hey.
Evan suspects all this, and yet he doesn't feel disgusted or ashamed. He feels something
I know, I'm
else.
just really weak, right?
Something he's trying not to feel.
Very weak.
Something he won't admit to himself.
Like weak, like physically weak, or is that, you know?
Evan looms over his father's bed and watches him sleep. He hates and loves him at the same time. Sometimes he wonders what his life would be like without him. He owes him so much, and yet he's miserable and alone. He raises a massive gray stone and holds it there for a long minute that feels like forever. He could be free.
Oh my...
Truly free. But he can't. Not like this. He could free himself in other ways.
What the
Accidents
fuck,
happen.
Jacob?
Hunting accidents. Mining
Hello,
accidents.
sorry, I
He could
can't
lure
be
him
here
into
right
the
now.
bowels of the
So
mine
I'm
and
letting
ignite a stick of dynamite.
Abigail
No way
play
he'd survive.
songs.
But despite it all,
She made a really
Evan can't do
badass
it.
sim. You want to see it?
His love is bigger than his hate.
Sure, send me
He
some
owes him too much.
Oh
Sending it to
no,
your phone.
oh no. That ain't
Sorry.
good. Oh, you should have just done it, my man.
I'm gonna let her create
Evan
her-
sketches his father in a bear suit drowning his mother. He never believed his father's story. Something didn't feel right. His eyes, his grin, his lack of empathy. She was pulled into a current and never seen again. His mother. She was
that
beautiful.
choker.
Blonde hair,
When you get to
blue
say she
eyes,
put a
fun,
choker on her.
full of compassion. His opposite. She didn't just go out to swim one morning and never come back. She was getting in his way, and no one gets in his way. Not even family. Especially not family. Obedience or death. Evan's tired of obedience. Yes, he's loyal to his father, but he's also loyal to his friends. They talk to him, encourage him, think he's a great artist. He has friends. He's never really had a friend. His father wouldn't allow it. Waste of time. They're using you. Yes, he's loyal to his father, but he's also loyal to his friends. They deserve better.
Ooh, uh-oh. His free friends.
Evan's father stares at him across the dinner table. He knows. Maybe he doesn't know, but he senses something's amiss. He has that look in his eye, that look that tells Evan he's in for it. He chews on a fatty piece of rabbit and hopes his father doesn't say anything. He should have known better than to keep something from him. His father knows. He always knows. Last year, Evan lost his cool on a man who said something about his mother. He almost beat the man to death with a 2x4 while his father watched and laughed. The authorities pulled Evan away. He smiled at Evan and knew what he wouldn't admit to himself. He enjoyed beating on that man, not because of the insult, not because he felt threatened, but because he felt powerful. His father smiled. Apple doesn't fall far from the tree, eh?
Uh-oh. Last one.
Evan finds his sketches torn to bits. He puts the pieces together, all of them accounted for, except one. He doesn't have the picture of his drowning mother. His father enters his room. Despair and dread overwhelm him. He waits for a blow that never comes. Instead, his father tells him he has instinct, and instinct is everything. He tells him he inherited his instinct from his side of the family, the same instinct that told him Evan was keeping something from him. Don't pretend, I know. A few of your maggot friends sold you out for a few dollars. Evan starts but doesn't say anything. Can't say anything. The words are caught in his throat. He apologizes. His father says nothing, walks away. Evan follows him to his bedroom where he sees the picture of his dying mother, framed above the bed. His father tells Evan he will learn a lesson tomorrow, one he hopes he understands. Evan stares at his father and feels hate. Hate for the maggots who betrayed him, and for his father, respect. No, not respect. Admiration.
Oh no. Wow. Yep, you don't betray someone like that. They've messed up doing that. That's that, everybody. That's all for Tome 1. Let's go to the current home, shall we?
King scrunches his broken fist.
Actually,
Cheers
no.
and
Let's go with Spirit because we got hers
Rin
first.
sits at her desk, dreading the end of the school day. Not because she enjoys junior high, or because she respects her teachers, but because she despises being forced to learn kendo. But her father demands it. He demands that she practice the way of the sword. Not just practice, excel. She's a Yamaoka. The Yamaokas come from a proud legacy, a samurai legacy. He reminds her of this every day, and every day the kids tease and humiliate her, telling her she has no business in their class, telling her she should wield a broom, not a shinai. She ignores them and tries her best. Maybe if she excels with a katana, her father will feel better. He hasn't been himself as of late, frustrated, irritable, reactive. She can't do anything right, nor can her mother. He has become very quiet and talks and argues with himself. She doesn't understand what's happening to him, but she knows he is suffering, and the last thing she wants is to add to his pain. Family is everything, and maybe one day she'll be okay with wielding a katana. Maybe she'll even enjoy it. Rin's bones feel brittle and ready to collapse under the weight of the armor. She holds her bamboo shinai up to her opponent. I want this to be over. Can't this just be over? Her opponent insults her. He tells her there's a shattered window in the changing room she ought to clean before someone cuts themselves. Janitor Yamaoka. He laughs. He makes another janitor joke at her expense. A sudden heat rushes up her face. She wants to shove the shinai down his throat. See how he laughs with wood and splinters piercing through his stomach. Splinters piercing through his throat. Where did those thoughts come from? It's not like her to think such thoughts. She angles her shinai and feels something strange inside. She's never felt anything like it before. Like a waking dragon in her heart. She stares at her grinning opponent. Faster than thought, she lunges and strikes his head. Everyone laughs at him. His head slumps in mingled defeat and humiliation. A boy stares at her with wide, disbelieving eyes. He blinks. You might be a Yamaoka after all. She hates to admit it, but it feels good to win. No, not to win. To defeat a foe. To defeat another human being. Defeat another human being? Why would I think this? These aren't my thoughts. But they are.
Bipolar.
She doesn't understand what happened. What thing came over her to give her the strength to contend with the boy in front of her? He isn't laughing anymore. He glares at her. She beat him. Not once, not twice. Thrice. The boys continue to stare at her open-mouthed. Something is changing in Janitor Yamaoka. They know it. She knows it. She feels the waking dragon in her heart. It's the closest she's ever felt to being a fighter, a warrior, a Yamaoka. And she likes it. Likes being treated with respect. Likes being taken seriously. For an instant, she imagines herself beside the great Renjiro Yamaoka and his son, Kazan. Something tugs in her heart, and the dragon stirs. And the dragon, she realizes, is the waking of her raging Yamaoka blood. Janitor Yamaoka, you got lucky. Let's see how lucky you really are. Boys close in on her, cursing, jesting, shouting. She wants to run, but doesn't see an opening. She wants to apologize for being good with a shinai, but the waking dragon inside her heart won't allow it. She didn't do anything wrong. She has no reason to apologize. She finally did what she was supposed to do, and now they close in on her as though she had cheated, as though they could see the dragon that had helped her. She feels scared. Where is that dragon now? Where is the spirit of her ancestors? She raises a pleading hand for her abusers to stop. You will pay. You made me look foolish. For a moment, there is an opening between two boys, and there's no hesitation, only action. She charges through and storms across the schoolyard with a group of angry boys in pursuit. She quickly ducks behind a garbage bin and watches the boys run past her. One stops, turns towards the bins, narrows his gaze. She holds her breath. She can hear her heart pounding in her head. Why hide? You are better than these peasants. Stand and show them who you are. But she does not reveal herself. She hides and wishes that waking dragon to go back to sleep. Rin emerges from hiding and begins her long walk home. The dragon in her heart admonishes her for hiding, tells her she is more than her tormentors and should never cower before bullies and abusers. She's not sure what she should have done or what she should think. Maybe she should have faced them. Maybe she should have confronted them. Maybe she should have beaten them down and torn them limb from limb. Limb from limb? What am I thinking? Where did that come from? Limb from limb. What dark thoughts are these? Before she can answer her own question, she hears a voice. She hears her tormentors jeering and spewing insults at her. She doesn't turn around. She doesn't run. She doesn't run because she knows what's coming, and she doesn't care. The dragon within tells her everything's going to be okay. The boys throw garbage at her, call her Janitor Yamaoka, Janitor Yamaoka, Janitor Yamaoka. She knows what's next. She sees it in her mind's eye like samurai of old. They'll push her down, surround her, punch and kick her, but this time she won't let the pain defeat her. She won't let the fear paralyze her. She'll use the fear and the pain to feed the dragon. Today her bullies will feel teeth and claws. They will feel her wrath, and they will learn she is a Yamaoka.
Wow. That's something. David King's next. He was the next one I unlocked.
King scrunches his broken fist. Cheers and hollers from a drunk crowd echo through the alleyway. He stares at his fallen opponent. Bleeding face, busted nose, chipped teeth. He kicks him in the mouth to put the finishing touches on his handiwork. He never lost a fight. Not now. Not ever. Always bet on King.
Always bet on
He
King.
glances over the crowd, spots Donnie, an old friend with a gambling problem. Not much of a problem if he continues to bet on me. King looks at his watch. He's late for a family meeting. King's father gives his mother hell for talking back for something he didn't quite understand. It's always the same crap. King grinds his teeth. Blood and warmth rush up his face. Every scrap, every single one he won because he saw his father's face on his opponent. He wants to lash out, to say something, anything. But to say something is to be cut off. But this time he's not thinking straight, or maybe he is. His father raises a hand to strike his mother. It happens faster than the thought to perceive it. One moment he snatches his father's arm, the next he's beating him black and blue for years of accumulated shit. He walks away, while his mother tries to help his father up. You're out. Never show your face here again, ungrateful bastard. Get out. He never really had friends. Not real ones, anyway. He had an entourage. A group of sods enjoying the high life with his credit card. Now he has no one. Not a single bloody friend to help him out. He had friends once upon a time in school, but that was long ago. He needs money. But money doesn't grow on trees, and no one wants to challenge him. Not after what he did to his last opponent. He needs a job. His accounts are near empty, and his old careless spending habits are hard to break. He meets with Tommy. Tommy has no room for him in his apartment. Wishes he did, but he doesn't. Mick wants to help, but his old lady won't let him. Same with Bill. And Harry. His ex has moved on, and she doesn't want to see his face. Something about being a shithead. He can't live in a hotel room forever. It drains the account. He remembers a face he recently spotted in a crowd at his last scrap. They were friends since they were toddlers. He was a genuine friend, even if they went separate ways. King looks him up. Castle Drive. He hails a taxi. King hasn't felt real in a long time. He sits in Donnie's apartment drinking old ale, realizing how much he misses genuine heart-to-hearts. Donnie was his friend before he realized he came from money. The rich aren't really rich. He's not sure why he thinks this or what it means. It's just a random thought. The ale talking, as it were. Donnie says he can stay until he figures things out. He's not sure when that will be. It doesn't matter. A sudden rap at the door startles him. Donnie stands, opens the door to reveal a few men in black leather jackets. Muscle. King doesn't hear much. What he does hear, he doesn't like. Donnie owes money and can expect a bundle of lead in the face if he doesn't pay. He laughs when he returns to the kitchen table. It's your fault, King. I don't know who to bet on anymore.
Uh-oh.
King lost his last 3 jobs and is going back to what he does best. A challenger steps into the circle in the dimly lit alley, double his size, massive. King doesn't care. A head's a head. He'll go down like the others. Crowd calls him the Ghetto Masher. The Ghetto Masher glares at him. The ref spits out rules he's heard 1,000 times. King stares at him and sees not his father, but his opponent. A bell sounds. With a bestial snarl, the Ghetto Masher lunges. King evades a wild blow that would have ripped his head off. He feels strange, unresponsive, confused. Donnie screams at him. He glances at him as he receives a massive fist to the skull. Black swirls across his eyes. He doesn't remember the thud against his skull. He doesn't remember his legs buckling. He doesn't even remember collapsing in a pile of festering garbage. He only remembers waking up on the couch in Donnie's apartment. He's lost his edge. His anger. His rage. His hate. Was that all he was? Donnie's asking if he's okay, and he's not sure. Am I okay? Will I be better? I don't know. Was it just a fluke? A lucky shot? Happens to the best. I feel wrecked. I am wrecked. Donnie bet the last of his cash on him.
Oh no.
King's getting the hang of working behind a bar. Donnie sips a beer and tells him he needs to find another reason to fight. King tells Donnie he needs to get home before the beer he's drinking turns to piss. Before he gets in trouble. Too late. King spots 2 men. They approach Donnie, grab him, usher him into the basement. Not a good sign. King rushes to help, but his manager yells at him to stay behind the bar. Screw it. He leaps over the bar and rushes to the basement where he finds Donnie being beaten by Ghetto Masher and Uncle Brass watching in his chair. King doesn't hesitate. He tackles him. They exchange deadly blows. Ghetto Masher can hardly keep up. Uncle Brass sends others after King. Doesn't matter. King's a whirlwind of destruction. He cracks Ghetto's knees and thrusts his thumbs into his eye sockets. An eyeball pops out, still attached to a series of nerves. Cries of terror. Ghetto Masher cups his eyeball, screaming for medical help, staggers and slams against the wall as more ruffians attack. Stop! Uncle Brass stands and approaches. It's well within my power to rip your fucking head off for what you did to my boys. King staggers to his feet. Not a bloody joke, am I? His debt is paid if you work for me. He straightens up and brushes his jacket, smiles. Always bet on King.
Damn right. Let's watch his video, shall we, everybody? Alright. And it's time for the last one of the stream. Good old Doc is next.
Imbecile. That's what he calls Professor Blanchard. The imbecile is choosing 2 students to lead a research assignment in an abandoned farmhouse. Carter knows he's going to be selected. He's the best in the neuroscience program. The best at the Leary. The Leary. It could only be the Leary. The Leary or the Allen. 2 institutions with a history of working with the government to push the limits of psychology beyond the code. Not beyond the code, despite the code. The papers coming out of the Allen amazed him, captured him, inspired him. Had he been Canadian, it would have been the Allen, or what many called Ravenscrag. The experiments they conducted were brilliant, cutting edge, mind-shattering. He wishes he were a student in the 50s studying under Lord Crag, the nickname patients gave the genius at Ravenscrag.
Hello.
Lord Crag returned from the
Hello,
trials
Michael.
with ideas,
How you doing there?
tales,
Nice to have someone
not
new here.
discussed like the other bleeding hearts who condemned the doctors.
Hope
who
you're
would
enjoying
anyway
this.
Be smuggled into his country and be given the highest positions in government in exchange for their discoveries. Lord Crag took the experiments he had heard about to the next level, and Carter hopes to do the same. But not with this professor, not with Blanchard, Dr. Blanchard, Dr. Bleeding Heart Blanchard. He has no idea what real power is. Real power is freedom. True freedom. Freedom beyond the limits of ethics and morality. Carter's leading the research assignment with another peer. The challenge? Secure the secret word through the good doctor, bad doctor interrogation technique put forward by some other bleeding heart imbecile at some other institution. He's bad doctor with a code. A list of do's and don'ts the imbecile gave him. Very limiting, too limiting, self-limiting even. How is he supposed to secure anything with these limits? Surely he realizes how futile the experiment is with this code. Nevertheless, he tries. He shouts at a fellow student sitting across the table from him. Shouts, big deal. Tell me or I'll... shout again. The student doesn't take him seriously. He's play-acting fear. It's all make-believe for him. I should smash his skull and yank the secret word out of his substandard mediocre brain.
I like that thought process, Doc.
Second day, and nothing. Carter's frustrated, really frustrated. At least they're tied up, all 7 of them. But it's still not enough. They need to take the interrogation to the next level, deprive them of food and water. They'll talk. When their cells begin to self-cannibalize, they'll talk. Better yet, he wants to deprive them of sleep. Sleep deprivation. Removes masks, lowers guards, makes prisoners talk for the promise of a few minutes of sleep. The 7 prisoners stare at him. They know they're safe. He can see it in their eyes. Limits. No one got anywhere respecting limits. He despises his colleague, Good Doctor. He'd have the secret by now had he been working alone and without a code.
Heck yes you would, Doc. Do it.
Ridiculous.
How's everything going?
Skinner knew
This
better.
is the end
Put
of the
his own
stream.
kid in some kind
We're doing
of
the
a
last
box
thing.
for
Let's stop.
years just to see what it would
Oh,
do.
sweet.
Huxley worked for the Secret Service and wrote Truths as Lies in Brave New World. War of the Worlds was another great test in mass propaganda. The power of the radio to induce fear and anxiety in an unsuspecting audience. The power of fear and anxiety to inspire silence and indifference and create perfect consumers. Ethics, morality, limits. For sheep, not shepherds. Carter feels anxiety unlike he ever felt as he watches Good Doctor interrogate one of his classmates. He approaches him from behind with a piece of wood, something he found on the ground, raises the makeshift club. Before he realizes what he's doing, he pounds the good doctor's head. Pretend fear becomes real fear as his fellow students stare at him in horror. No more good doctor. No more rules. No more limits. Except the limits of his imagination.
I like where this is going.
I like where Doc's taking this.
Written. Carter ties a student to a chair. Warm blood drips everywhere. He twists pieces of flesh off his face. The sheep look away, but never up. With terrible moans and squirms, he gets a secret word from each and every one of them. New, Reich, Horizons, Fourth, Bird, Kill. His classmates beg to be released. They sob and agonize in their chairs. They plead the experiment is over. You have the words. You win. We're done. Carter smiles. He's still got a few days. A few more days and a few more experiments to run. Could put his career at risk. But he's got the good doctor to take the fall. I'll take what I learned from Lord Crag and lobotomize these imbeciles and manipulate... No, not manipulate. Manufacture. Yes, manufacture reality.
I like where you're going, Doc.
Music blares. Eyes are kept forced open with toothpicks. Carter piggybacks a looping song with an inaudible subliminal frequency to evoke fear, anxiety, and discontent. He experimented with the loop on his parents, always caused a fight between them. He doesn't remember where he got the loop. He first read about the subliminal frequency from advertisers. Advertisers deny subliminal loops work. Of course they do. Advertisers deny they use subliminal loops. But they do. They use them, and they work. They must. They must because peace and contentment is our natural disposition. War and discontent needs to be instilled, enforced, manufactured, repeated over and over again until it's the main script in the collective consciousness. Paperclip, Bluebird, MK Ultra, MK Delta, MK Search. They were all necessary. Lord Crag had the right idea, good instincts. So did the Black Sorcerer and the Dirty Trickster. They inspired all the goodies he brought with him in his bag.
Yep.
Music, drinks, drugs, lots of drugs. For a
Doc.
moment, just a moment, he hesitates.
Oh.
He'll probably go to jail for a long time if he uses his goodies. But being free, being truly free for a few days, is worth a lifetime of imprisonment. But I won't get caught. Good doctor will.
Oh. How's he gonna do that?
Carter wonders if he can remother these sheep. Remother, he loves the term. He wishes it was his own, but it's not. Shock them with electricity and expose them to endless images of death, chaos, and destruction. Traumatize the brain, empty it, lobotomize these subjects to remother them with new personalities. He wonders if he could remother these sheep into wolves. Get them to kill each other. Better yet, turn these good, law-abiding students into serial bombers. He rips the plug out of a lamp, splits the wires, peels the wire, places the exposed wire into a student's mouth, slowly approaches the socket, taking in his terror, plugs it in, screams as he remothers this exemplary student. A putrid smell of burning hair and skin reaches his olfactory receptors. There's another stench. Imbecile soiled himself. Carter laughs. He hasn't been this stimulated in ages.
He crapped himself.
Truly free.
Ooh, uh-oh. Someone.
Carter hasn't had this much fun since he first tried to transplant a mouse brain into a rabbit. A week isn't enough. He wishes he had more time. He needs more time. There are new avenues within the mind to explore. Too many avenues, not enough time. He wishes he had the tools to operate on their brains. There are knives in the kitchen. Good work. Not surgical precision, but good enough. He's read about a gland in the brain that looks like an eye, a gland that supposedly secretes DMT, a kind of mystical drug. He wonders if he can extract it from a living subject. He wonders what a good dosage of human DMT does to a test subject.
Uh-oh.
Carter unties a rope. He's going to release Good Doctor. He's pumped him with drugs and programmed him with new thoughts. He believes the other students are Russian spies that need to be executed for national security. He unwraps the rope and places a screwdriver in his hands. He changes his mind, removes the screwdriver, replaces it with a fork, changes his mind again, replaces the fork with a spoon. He's never seen a spoon used to kill a human being. He backs away from Good Doctor, who is lost and confused, remothered. He says a phrase. The moon is down. Confusion becomes clarity as Good Doctor stands and approaches the Russian spies with a spoon. Brilliant.
Oh, I like where this is going. I like where it's going.
Bleeding Heart Blanchard returns to the farmhouse with a group of men Carter's never seen before. They look like government men. He suppresses a smile and tells them Good Doctor got out of hand, took things a degree too far. He barely got out alive. Blanchard tells him to shut up. His tone is different. He doesn't sound like an imbecile. We taped the whole thing. Carter exchanges a look with the men in black suits. He doesn't understand. The imbecile enters and does the unexpected. He stares at the barely breathing student unperturbed. No fear, no panic, no emotion, nothing. He grins and mumbles something to himself in German. He turns to Carter with a smile. His smile turns to a grin when the men in black suits handcuff and arrest him. Blanchard whispers, "Looks like you had your chance to make merry hell and took it. The cuffs are just for appearances." I don't understand.
Oh.
Yes, you do. You understand much more than the others. Welcome to MK Awakening.
Oh, even Doctor here was confused. He was a bit scared, probably, too. Well, let's watch the last video of the stream now, everybody. Hey! Well, we know what Doctor looked like. Oh! Oh.
No!
Oh, Doc! What did you do, Doc? Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, God. Oh, wow, Doctor. Jesus Christ. Oh, God. Oh. 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 I still like the Doctor. If anything, this makes me like him more. Oh, God.
This is a great screen.
Oh, God. Well, I know one thing I'm going to probably be doing, ending the stream off with us looking at Doc. So, that last one, the Doctor has got to have the best killer backstory and best killer video so far, in my opinion. I love his backstory. I love the visuals that they gave us. As disturbing as they were, it really brings home what he used to look like and what his personality was even before he became the man we're looking at right here and now. He was messed up to begin with, and slowly started becoming even more messed up. But the thing is, though, even he still had fear in him when what he thought was this guy who turned out what he thought was an idiot turned out to be this mentally messed up man who literally seemingly enjoyed seeing what the doctor had done to these people. And Doctor was like freaking out, like, why are you not like scared? Why are you not like afraid? And it's like this guy's just smiling at him like well, that's gonna do it for the stream for today, everybody. Thank you, everyone, for coming out here and watching the Dead by Daylight, my Dead by Daylight reaction to all these tapes, all these cutscenes that we've seen. I reacted pretty bad to the doctors because I was not expecting them to go that far. But I'm really happy they did. Because it brings out more in him. It makes him be like different from the other. It makes him different from Trapper. It makes him different from Yamaoka.
I can't wait for them to do one for like the other killers, like Nurse and Huntress.
Yes, Nurse and Huntress, of course, are. We're hoping that maybe
like the next tome. Well,
we're hoping that maybe next tome will be
Rift.
them. We're hoping
Rift.
that the next tome is going to be for them. And
no,
Rift.
the next Rift. Yeah, that.
Well, the Rift is for the items. The tomes
I know,
are for the
but,
information.
like,
So
like we're on tome 2. So like tome 3.
Tome 3 would be next. Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, if they even gave us like Hillbilly and Hunters, that would be kind of interesting to know what, like the backstory and like
James
visuals for
Killer's
Hunters.
played Buzz.
So, yeah, this was a really
I've already seen,
good.
like, some artwork of Play from Dead by Daylight.
So, if you enjoyed,
I
please
think
hit that like
you
button.
know,
Greatly show
like,
support for to me and my friends on our channel. If you also enjoyed enough, please hit that subscribe button to
Yeah.
stay up to date on all foreseeable
I think
content
you
in the
already did
foreseeable
one.
future. And why not hit the notification bell to stay notified and become one of the notification squad, so that you can, you know, get a notifications, because notifications have been a little off lately. So make sure that if you want to stay up to date on any content that comes out in the future, hit the notification bell, subscribe, and hit that like button to, you know, show that you liked it. And until next time, I will see you guys in the next either reaction of more of these tapes
See ya in the
in the next video. Yeah. See ya.